Hi, this is John Walker from Cancer, and you're listening to the FANTASM Podcast.
Phantasm.
Maximum terror.
Oh, that's your target audience, baby!
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.
Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal!
Phantasm.
This is Dr. Vincent West, Medical Doctor, and I have one of my favorite people in death metal with me today. We've got John from Cancer, and we're going to be talking about Maryland Deathfest. We're going to be talking about the new lineup, and we're also going to be talking about the amazing reissues that came out last year that I just am so happy to have. John, how are you doing? Thank you for doing this today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's a pleasure to do it, Vincent.
Thank you so much for doing this, man. I'm such a huge fan of the band. And just to jump right into this, you had some lineup changes recently. So, and you put this awesome post on the Facebook, on Cancer's Facebook. Could you kind of go through that for our listeners here today?
Yeah, I've had a lineup change. I've got a new bass player called Daniel Maganto, and he's from Madrid, and he plays in some groups, Eternal Storm. He also did some stuff with Liquid Graveyard.
Okay.
And I've known him since 2012. 2012.
Oh, wow.
At the Summon the Dead Madrid Fest. That's quite some time already, and he's kind of got himself in. He introduced me to a drummer called Gabriel Balcazar, who's half American, half Spanish, and he plays, in a group called Wormed, and he was very interested in doing this, and we got together and had some auditioning, and I'm happy to say we've got this lineup. So we're looking forward to getting out and playing.
Wormed is a really good band. I didn't know that's where he was from. That's awesome. I'm very familiar with Wormed. Yeah. That sounds like a hell of a lineup. And then you guys are going to be doing Maryland Deathfest. Have you done Maryland Death? So this will be, you've done Maryland before, I believe, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done it once before. We did it once before when we reformed with some reissues coming out. Not these reissues, but the
Cyclone
reissues.
ones. Yeah, right.
So,
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's exciting. I mean, people have got to be stoked about that. When you're doing a set list for Maryland, is that hard to do, picking from the albums that you did? Because Shadow Gripped was a great album as well. Is it hard to go through that stuff, or is it pretty easy at this point?
well, I mean, we're gonna have rehearsals with this and see. I think we've got the songs. The problem is the order. What order to put them in?
Sure.
And we need a fresh order, really, so that we don't play something that is exactly what was recorded and put out on the internet 3 years ago. So we're going to go through the songs and then see which ones we can link together and which ones we can play at our potential. But it's interesting you say that, because a good set is when to keep on the pulse.
Sure.
And not let it go off in the wrong direction. So if you understand,
that type
of thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
And as far as, are you all going to be doing any other shows besides Maryland, or is Maryland the one right now? Or are you going to be doing any other festivals this year? Or?
I think we've got a few, yeah. We've got a couple of festivals. There's one in England.
Okay.
We're playing. And, but, I mean, at the moment, as you say, we're stoked for getting into Maryland and rocking.
Absolutely.
That's the, get the ball, kick the ball again, get it working again,
Yeah.
Too long with nothing, because of the COVID thing. So we come back with with some heads down metal.
Absolutely.
That's the idea.
Yeah. Is it fun for you to get to see some of your friends, like some of the bands you probably don't get to see in a while? Haven't seen each other, some of these bands, for over 20 years, so right.
Sometimes I don't, fully recognise them, but, so, usually people are pretty chilled out, it's always a pleasure. I saw, Malevolent Creation. I met them, it was after years and years and years, and I saw Phil and Brett, and, they were great guys, absolutely fantastic, going in the bar with them, having a few beers, and,
that's awesome.
Getting the information off them, so.
Well, that's awesome.
It's always exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk to you about the reissues that you put out last year. They're so awesome. And just to start with, To the Gory End. One, just to have these where you don't have to, go on fucking eBay or wherever else to find them. But the reissues of these are so nice. They've got these really nice slip covers. I bought the CDs. I haven't got the vinyl, but the CDs are fucking awesome. And then the Death Shall Rise one's really awesome because it's got the live show with it. And yeah, Sins of Mankind, it sounds awesome. It looks great. The packaging's awesome. So we'll just jump into the To the Gory End. When they put those out, did they come for you to you for the extra stuff to put on these CDs or and the vinyl?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Totally. This was done before with the previous guys.
Sure.
So it was quite a shock to me to see them there as well. But it's always good to have extra bonus things.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that live recording still existed.
Right, yeah.
So I was quite surprised with that as well. So, I know there's live at the Milwaukee Metal Fest, the Live Death album, where Cancer had two songs. There was Exorder, Suffocation, I think, and Malevolent Creation. I haven't seen that for a long time. I haven't seen that for years. So, but this live one on Death Shall Rise, I was quite surprised as well. So,
yeah, it was really cool. That record, because To the Gory End is so just over the top and stuff. Death Shall Rise. I mean, James Murphy's guitar work on it, and your guitar. It's such a fucking classic album. I really, really, really like the way, and these sound better to me, these reissues, than I've got the Cyclone ones too. These sound a lot better, I think. Like the other ones, it just kind of seemed like they ported them. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, I don't have to have something, but I'm just saying these sound really, really good. They're really nice. And for you guys listening out there in the UK or the US, you can get them off Amazon.com. That's where I got mine. They're fucking awesome. They sound so good. Sins of Mankind, man, it really sounds good. I was listening to that one in the car last night. Man, it sounds fucking great. It's such a great album. I think a lot of people overlook that album. It's so good. But for me, it was cool to go back and listen to To the Gory End, because I hadn't physically owned it in so long. Like, I didn't get that Cyclone, and I think it was gone before I could get it. So to get a copy of that, it's fucking awesome just to have that again, and all the cool photos and the remastering and everything. So, but yeah, it's. Did you, when you all played Milwaukee, was that Death Shall Rise or was that To the Gory End?
Death Shall Rise.
Death Shall Rise, yeah.
First time we played Milwaukee Metal Fest was with James Murphy and Sepultura and Ice-T.
Wow, that's awesome.
As well. So, and yeah, it's Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, yes.
Yep. That's awesome.
And, it was fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Scott Burns did the same. Yes.
Oh, really? He did it live for you?
He did the live signing. I think it was. I think they employed. The Deicide employed him or someone. I can't remember who. I think it was Deicide.
That's amazing.
But he was there. He was on the aeroplane. So we met up with James, and rehearsed with him in Florida in the heat. And then we all got the aeroplane to Milwaukee, and he was on there. So
that's awesome.
It's curious that, But anyway, he said he'd do his thing. Yeah.
Sure. How did
Scott Burns live sang?
Did Scott just produce Death Shall Rise? Was that the only one that he did?
He did To the Gory End.
Oh, he did that. Okay, so he did do that one.
Well.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds. I was curious because Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what was the first time when you guys went to record with him? What was that like? Did y'all record that in Florida To the Gory End?
No, we actually recorded it in Wales.
Oh, okay.
In Usk, which is in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, you're isolated when you're there. And it was a pretty horrible winter, what I remember. And so we were basically hauled up in this studio, and we recorded it in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Just 4 days. That's why it's, raw.
It's great. It's so good.
So, basically, and he came over, and he came to a rehearsal and asked various questions and things like that, and we took him to the pub for some drinks, and then we went to the studio, and it was it was quite an experience, quite for Scott, I think, as well.
That's amazing.
It must have been an experience for him, but the whole thing was mixed in Florida. Okay. So although it was recorded in Wales, it was actually mixed in Florida.
That's so awesome.
So then when it came to doing the Death Shall Rise, Scott wanted us. Well, we all went over and went to Morris Sound, and he got me a guitar to use and an amplifier and everything. Sorted out everything. He was a really kind, a good man, Scott Burns. Did Scott bring James in, or did you all bring James in as a member at that time? Yeah, I did some leads on the record, and I don't think Scott was too impressed with them. They're a bit like Kill Your Cat leads, Strangling the Cat leads, and so I mean, I'd always come from that Tom Warrior type of way. Sure. Okay, I played the leads for a fact. Not too impressed, really, and we lost the guitar, so he introduced James to us, and and he came in to do some guest leads, and it sounded great, so we got him to do the rest of the leads, while I was kind of in the back crying, But, no, I mean, it was a fantastic experience because, I got to jam with the guy, and we rehearsed together, and, I got to see how he played, and that, so it was good for that, and he did a couple of tours with us, and in Europe, and we played that Milwaukee Metal Fest
right
together, and good times, but the problem was with the distance logistically it was impossible to continue, so in the end we had to get somebody from England.
Sure.
Come in and play. That was during ready for the rehearsing for the Sins of Mankind.
Right.
But the bit we did with James was, it's good. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, it's great. I think, did you ever listen to Disincarnate that he did?
Yeah, we toured with him.
Really?
Yeah, in North America.
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome.
Be with Morgoth as well. Yeah.
Really? That's amazing. That's so cool. That record, man. That's. I mean his. Cause of Death. That's my favorite Obituary album because he's on it. And then of course Spiritual Healing's my favorite Death album. I love his guitar playing, man. And actually, I had Chuck Billy on a couple weeks ago, and I don't think he was too thrilled to hear this, but I was like, Testament Low is my favorite album. Like, I bought that thing because James Murphy was on, and I don't think he was too thrilled, but it's fucking good. They were kind of going, it's still thrash, but it was kind of going in a death metal thing, and so I bought it because James was on the fucking album and did the tour, so, it was like, so Death Shall Rise, man, it's fun to listen to that album again. It's so good, and like I said, the expanded thing with the concert and everything, it sounds so good, and the artwork and everything, it's just really, really, really nice. It's really, really cool. Trying to think. So, Sins of Mankind, as far as the writing and recording process for that, when did you all start that? Like, when you were so Death Shall Rise is done. Was there a long wait between your writing process on that, or?
Well, I think we did a couple of tours. This was back in the day when you signed to a record label. They were, constantly really saying, "Have you written any more songs? Have you done any more songs? Have you done any more songs?" And so. They sent Rob Tennant's down, which was the A&R man for Final Solution in England, and he came to the pub with us, and he was quite shocked to hear that we'd only got one or two songs. And I don't know whether that was for the Sins of Mankind, but it was one of those things with that album. Once we got the difficult thing was to go from the Death Shall Rise and the touring, and then actually to start rehearsing and actually get songs for an album again. But once we'd got the ball rolling, the songs came, and we used a different producer for that one, Simon F. And of course we had the Barry Savage, guitarist from Bournemouth, who came to play on the record as well.
Right.
So.
How did he come on board? Did he contact you, or did you all contact him, or?
Yeah, well, he was, after James left, I should say, by English. After James left, we put an advert out, and he got in contact for an advert, and he came up to Telford, which is where I was living, where we were all living at the time, and had an audition for the band, and I remember playing a couple of songs from the Sins of Mankind to show him what direction the group was going in the rehearsal. So, and he joined, he joined the group, and we did a tour with Deicide, North America, six-week tour, all over North America and into Canada.
Right.
And then came back, and before we had a chance to, rest, we were back in the studio recording The Sins of Mankind. And that again was in Wrexham, in Wales.
Okay. Another
Welsh recording. So
I love that record. It's been a minute since I've listened to it. I was listening to it last night. The production's really good on it, and the songwriting's fucking killer. But the remaster, it sounds great. It sounds so good. I was listening to it. It's such a great album. I feel like a lot of people probably have overlooked that album. I really, really like it, man. It's a solid album. It's a great Cancer album. Do you, as far as like the artwork and stuff on that album, what was I always wanted to ask you this. I don't think I've ever got to. I'm pretty sure I didn't the last time we get to talk. But as far as the artwork, what was the artist, and were you involved in any of the artwork on that one, on Sins of Mankind?
The front cover's a painting.
Okay.
I don't remember who painted it.
I don't.
I'm really sorry about that. It's a classical painting.
Oh, it's awesome.
But you got the Junior Tomlin bit, so you got this kind of other bit in the inside,
right,
which has got the cancer face in the stonework. That was done by the same guy who painted The Death Shall Rise.
Really?
So, yes, Junior Tomlin, his name is, and but we wanted a classical cover at the time. Yeah, it was a departure for the group because we recorded it with kind of a bit more of the Gibson Flying V guitar sound. We tried to get that kind of cutting guitars on it, and when the album finally came out, I think I did an interview with I think it was Raw magazine at the time, which is completely defunct now, and they said, "Oh, you did an 80s thrash album." I was like, "Really?" So, and they didn't like the fact that some of that music was an influence,
right?
For us anyway. It's like, it's quite strange, really, at the time. So you could be right there, Vincent. You could be right. It was a bit overlooked.
Oh, it's such a great. It really is, man. That album it's solid, man. Every track on it, and that's my favorite thing about listening to a Cancer album. Because, I mean, even when I was growing up as a teenager, like when I got like Death Shall Rise or what, like the whole fucking record's great. It's not like you're listening to tracks off of it, and that was what I loved about Cancer, because you all felt like you were still part of like the Florida thing, even though me growing up in Florida, like, Deicide, Morbid Angel, Cannibal was a transplant, and of course Suffocation's from New York. I love all those bands, but I love because you guys still sounded like you were from, like you had the whole, I guess if you will, there's, I guess, maybe some kind of Napalm thing in the background, maybe, or Carcass, but Cancer still sounds like Cancer, and you still sounded, I loved it because to me, which is the highest praise I can give you guys, I hope it's not insulting, like, you guys sounded like a Florida-based death metal band, which I fucking loved. Because I thought you were, because me as a teen, I was like, I don't know where these guys, and then I was like, oh, they're from England, it's fucking awesome, so I always loved that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could have marketed it a bit more than we
yeah.
Probably sold a few more copies as well, but
that would have been nice.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you something. When we were growing up and we were listening to bands like Venom, and even bands like Destruction, Bathory, Celtic Frost. Remember the Slayer, doing Rain in Blood? Do you remember that?
Sure.
Every single song. It doesn't let you stop,
Right.
It doesn't give you a moment rest, does it? It's like every single song is perfectly followed by the next one.
Sure.
And I think that's what you try and get with these type of albums. Try and get a flow, so you hit with each song, and there's no real kind of like down moment, in that respect. But I think Slayer's Rain in Blood was the game changer. When it came to the
sure
that early metal of thrash death metal.
Oh yeah, that album's so
like
good.
Every single song.
Yeah, it was great. I remember, like, right before To the Glory End came out, and some of my other favorite albums came out, like the first Deicide album, or Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. Any of those records, like, I remember. Or even the first Malevolent album, like, I remember all of that stuff when it was starting to like the stuff I was listening to was kind of leaning towards what I personally felt would be death metal. And it's funny that you brought up Destruction, because I always felt like them and Creator, not that I didn't like American stuff like Slayer or Testament and stuff like that, but I felt like Creator and Destruction were just a little bit nastier, the Teutonic stuff.
Yeah, they were on tour, weren't they, with Slayer, Destruction?
That's awesome.
They went on tour with them, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, Destruction went kind of classical, didn't they?
Yeah.
At one point, and then they got the new band now, and I always quite like Destruction.
Oh, I do too.
Still love the riffs,
Oh, they're great. We've had Schmear on a few times. He's a great dude, man. Those guys are super cool. I love him. He's so nice. But that they're great. Like I said, I always like Creator and Destruction and Sodom. I think all three of those bands are fucking great. But like I said, that predates like me buying like other stuff. But I mean, even Coroner. I don't know if you ever like Coroner. I love Coroner. I thought Coroner was more death metal. They're labeled more like thrash stuff, but I mean, Ron's vocals were always really just like, bleh, just kind of nasty, and it felt like it was like a hybrid of what would kind of become death metal, and like.
I liked Coroner when they used the didgeridoos. Do you remember the didgeridoo?
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff on that record is mind blowing.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's great.
Great music.
It's good stuff. And you're going to be playing with them at the Maryland Deathfest, so that's cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of bands, and I was going to ask you this, as far as like when you guys were, like To the Gory End and Death Shall Rise, did you like a lot of the European death metal stuff, or were you more into like Deicide, Morbid Angel, Malevolent, and stuff like that, Suffocation? Were you more into the American stuff, or did you like Entombed and Dismember and all that stuff? Were you into that stuff too, or was it just more the American stuff? Or
it was funny because we, like I say, we grew up listening to Venom,
sure,
and Celtic Frost and stuff. And we got into the American stuff, the more it got imported.
Sure.
So, Possessed. Do you remember Possessed?
I love Possessed.
So, that was one Seven Churches.
That's a fucking great album.
It wasn't like we were listening to one thing and not the other. We were listening to both.
Sure.
It was very expensive at the time because we had to buy records, so it was quite expensive.
Absolutely.
But, I think it was that a bit of both, really, a bit of both. So like I say, we started with with the European stuff, and then went over to the American, then back to the European stuff,
Sure,
to the American stuff. So, you know,
I mean, Venom's great. I love Venom. I just meant around like the 90s, because like Entombed, that Left Hand Path album, like I loved that, and then they just lost me. Like after that album, I was like, and a lot of European bands I've had on the podcast, you know, they really love Entombed, and I was like, I mean, I like Left Hand Path, but anything after that, they kind of just lost me as a band. Like, I like that one record. I remember buying that on cassette, and I loved it, but then, like, they kind of lost me. Whereas Dismember, who also is at Maryland Deathfest, I love them. They were always my favorite, like, European death metal band, because a lot of the stuff that was out, I just didn't really relate to it as much, but, like, you know, and then loved you guys. Carcass I was never into. I know that's kind of weird, but I just never got into them. They were just, I don't know, I just didn't like them. Napalm I liked. But, I don't know, I guess I was growing up in Florida, you know, because I remember being at like the supermarket and like Glenn Benton walking out of it, and I was like 14 years old and I was scared to death of him. He's just in there buying groceries, and I was like, oh shit, you know, like, because they terrified me. Like, I loved him growing up, like I still do, but like I was just so scared of him. So like when I met him a few years ago, it was so funny. I'm like scared to death in the picture, because I interviewed Steve, and like we got done with the interview, and Glenn was just kind of like, hey, you know, I was just like, oh shit. Like I was still just kind of, it's just funny, you know, but yeah, but I mean, a lot of this stuff, I was just curious, like, because, I know so many people, when I asked, like, what, like, influence-wise, and obviously Celtic Frost is a great band, but yeah, you're all sound to me, you all don't sound like anybody. That's what I love about Cancer. Cancer just sounds like Cancer. Like, it's its own thing, it's death metal, it's in your face, it's punching you in the teeth, and that's what was so cool about revisiting some of these albums, because even, like, to go back to Sins of Mankind, it really is such a great album. And it still sounds like Cancer, but it's kind of a departure from, you know, Death Shall Rise. And then you go to like Shadow Gripped. Man, that album is fucking fantastic. And that's the last time we talked was when you'd put that out. And then of course the Ball Cutter EP, that was fun, you know. So I'm excited to see what you do with this new lineup. Are you planning on doing like new material with the new band, or?
Yeah. As soon as we've got the some rehearsals under our belt, I'm gonna hit them with some new songs. So
amazing.
It's quite been thanks to the COVID.
Right.
There's a bit much else happening. So I've got some new songs to be playing with them, and they rip your head off at the moment.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm telling you, man, Shadow Grip ripped my head off. I mean, dude, I remember that was the last time we talked and did an interview together. You were kind enough to do it like you were this time. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of this. And Shadow Grip is that was my favorite album that came out that year. That was such a fucking great album, man. It's so good. For you to just be able to conjure this stuff up still. Because I feel like a lot of bands have kind of lost their edge as far as like extreme death metal stuff, and man, Cancer hasn't missed a beat, and I can't thank you enough as a fan for that, John, because I mean, you guys still just punch me right in the face, you know, like I listen to the album and I'm just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Oh yeah, it's fabulous. As far as recording, do you already have it now? Will you get the guys together and you guys are going to record in the same spot, or are y'all going to do more of like what other bands where you just send stuff to each other and just kind of go back and forth with it, or?
Well, I mean, what I want to do is, like I say, get rehearsing with these guys.
Right.
So I've basically got the outline of songs. I've got the riffs. I've got the lyrics. But I want to get rehearsing with them and playing about with it. You know,
it's amazing.
If there's any mistakes and things like that, it's usually the opportunity to work the idea more. So this is what I'm looking forward to doing. So
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, there's no impacts. Put it that way. With the new stuff, there's no impacts.
It's amazing. So you got Maryland coming up, and then where else are you guys are you doing Maryland first and then doing some of like the summer stuff in Europe, or?
Yeah, I think all I know is we got one in England. Although there's other things booked. So yeah, what I'm going to do is because I haven't really been looking at the page, so getting my head round to sorting out what we've got to do in Maryland, and then I've got this thing I know I've got one in England to do. I think that's with Hellhammer.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't remember the name of it, but promoter's going to kill me.
Well, no, let's see. I can see if I can find it here real quick. Hold on. Let's see. You said it's in England?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can find it here for us. Let's see what we got here. All right. Here we go. I think I can find it right here. All right. Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, the Maryland thing, I wanted to talk to you about this while I'm looking this up for you. So this is, I don't know if I'm sure someone's told you, this is the last year they're doing Maryland, I guess.
Yeah, I was told.
Okay, it's pretty weird, isn't it? I've never got to go, so. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that you're all a part of that, though, it being the last year and all.
Yeah. Oh, shame.
Yeah, it's sad. Like I said, Milwaukee I went to once, and I loved it, but I never got to go to the Maryland thing. May's always kind of a hard time for me to get away, so. Plus, it's a fucking haul from Florida to get to Baltimore, you know. I wish I could, but it's just something where it's just not the easiest thing in the world for me to do, is just to kind of hop on a plane, which, I don't know. I've got so many fucking health problems. I have to be careful everywhere I go, John. I mean, it's just like living in a bubble. Let's see what we got here. I think I can find this. So there's Maryland. And then, let's see. Find it here. Is it Monolith? Is it that?
I think so, yeah.
Does that sound right? Let's pull this up here. Hey, like I said, I'm sorry that I should have been, but yeah, so July 29th and 30th, Cypress Avenue, Monolith 3 Festival.
So,
and this is,
familiar.
yeah, so this is festival, let's see, Cypress Avenue. Yeah, this has got to be this. This has to be because I don't know England though. Like that's going to be more your territory, but yeah. So this is the Monolith. This is cool, man. They've got some great bands on here. Hate's on that bill. There's some great stuff on this bill. Cancer's on the bill, which is awesome. So this is cool, man. So you've got that one too. Yeah, man. Like I said, I wish you all the best. I think. You guys will just kick ass at Maryland and this Monolith thing. This is really cool. And of course, everybody listening, you can go to the Cancer Official Band Facebook page, and there's all kinds of awesome stuff on here. But yeah, man, the reissues are fucking awesome. Like, I'm so happy that you decided to do those. It's fucking great. They sound killer. Those were all done, of course, if you guys are wondering, they were done by Peaceville Records, and there's limited vinyls. And of course, the rest are on CD as well. They fucking sound killer. I'm so excited to see you guys with this new lineup too, John. I mean, it looks like you've got a kick-ass lineup with these guys. It's fucking great. And then Maryland, there's so many great bands on this. You're going to see all kinds of people you haven't seen in a while. There's some great bands on here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is wild. There's some cool stuff on here. There really is. So they're blowing it out. This is the last year they're doing it. They're kicking everybody in the nuts. It's a hell of a fucking bill for this. As far as like, do you ever want to do like a U.S. tour again when you get this lineup and another album out? I would love to see. That way, maybe I could get to see you, but some other folks could. Because going to a festival is a bitch for me, but I wish I could. But
yeah.
Would you ever want to do that? Would you ever want to do like a small tour? Or?
Yeah, a small tour. A small tour would be okay, for me. And so kind of stay in like one area to tour.
Sure.
That's the thing. The idea of the 6 or 7 weeks, I'd have to get into some kind of training routine to get
sure.
in for that.
Sure.
I'd be able to, top up my medical insurance.
Right. I understand, dude.
Weeks,
Absolutely.
But, we're going to do is, we're rehearsing, we're going to play these festivals, and we're going to see how it goes, and take it from there, and, focus on, making it kick ass, like you say, and, having a good time doing it. That's the basic thing. Like I say, I've got new songs, we've got a lot of new stuff, lots of stuff to do, to get the ball rolling again. There's been too long with the COVID.
Absolutely.
Too much inactivity, and it's time to hit back now. That's the thing.
You guys have, man. Like I said, the reissues are available through Peaceville. There's vinyl, there's CDs. They're playing Maryland Deathfest. They're also playing this really awesome festival in England. This is so cool, man. There's a lot of really cool stuff on this as well in July. And then working on new stuff. You got the new band members. I'm so excited for you, man. It's so awesome. It's exciting for me as a Cancer fan.
Yeah, well, it's exciting for me as well. To keep it going and put it all into how I want it, and that it is good.
Absolutely, man. It's exciting. I'm just glad that you did, because just keeping the band going is exciting, man. Because like I said, Shadow Grip was such a fucking kick-ass album. I'm excited that you're going to continue the band. It's fucking awesome, because that was such a great album. So
yeah, well, I wasn't ready to throw the towel in. I just wasn't. So and obviously, when there's lineup changes, who do I get to
sure.
to come in and play?
Sure.
And I'm quite thankful that with the results, really, I just can't wait to get out and get playing. That's the thing. Get it happening again.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm so excited for you and for all of us that are fans of the band. It's so cool that you've got this new lineup, and you guys are going to be doing shows. You got a new album coming and everything. Just the whole process, the writing process. You guys doing some session stuff and jamming. It's fucking awesome. It's so exciting. And thank you as a longtime fan for keeping the band going, man. I'm really excited because, like I said, when I got Shadow Grip, because I always physically bought it, I remember listening to that thing. I was like, God damn, like he's the nightmare isn't over. It's just like, yeah, it was just like getting kicked in the balls. It's like getting punched in the mouth. It's just so cool that you're still writing this stuff and doing it after all this time. And I love the band. I've always loved the band. And thank you so much for doing this. It's fucking amazing.
Pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine.
Thank you.
So tell me, can you recommend me some good films to watch?
Oh, sure. Are you wanting modern stuff or some old stuff? Or?
Well, I was thinking about some old stuff.
Sure. I'll tell you one I revisited recently, Alligator. Did you ever watch Alligator?
Yeah. I saw Alligator, yes. Wow. Good God.
I picked that up. They put a 4K disc of that out, so I picked that up, and it's It's fucking awesome. It's like loaded with... And I hadn't watched it in years. I mean, it's kind of campy, but it's... I'll tell you the funniest thing about that movie that I never knew. Bryan Cranston, like A-list actor, he's like a makeup special effects guy on that film. He was like operating the crocodile as like one of his first gigs. So they have like a whole documentary with him on there. I'm like, why the fuck is Bryan Cranston on this? And he was like operating the alligator. Like he was like one of the stuntmen moving the fake alligator to eat people and stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then I picked up, they put Prince of Darkness, the John Carpenter movie, out in 4K. I picked that up recently. I picked up They Live. They put that out in 4K recently. I've started buying 4K just because I got a PlayStation 5, so I've been buying 4K stuff instead of Blu-ray now. The Howling, I got the original Howling in 4K. I picked up... Patrick McNee, man, I hadn't watched that in fucking forever. It's so much fun. I was always more of an American Werewolf in London guy, but I like The Howling. The Howling's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think, they're putting, because this has never existed on Blu-ray, so they're putting the original Rutger Hauer, The Hitcher, out in 4K.
Oh, wow.
Yep, so I'm going to pick that up.
That's a film, isn't it?
You know, did you ever see the remake of it from like 2002?
No, I didn't.
It's good. It's got, God, what's his name? I always forget his name. He dies in like everything he's in. Hold on. Let's see. Sean Bean is the Hitcher in the remake. It's actually really good. It's a lot gorier than the Rutger Hauer. I mean, I love the Rutger Hauer one, but the remake's actually pretty good. I always liked it. It's from 2002, yeah. And then I'm trying to think. I watched. What was the last thing that I just watched? Do you have Can you get the Paramount Plus app over there?
Sorry?
Paramount Plus. It's like an app.
I haven't got it.
I didn't know if you could get it. It's dirt cheap over here. I don't know how expensive it is over there, but like a lot of their catalog stuff's on there. Like a bunch of the Friday the 13th movies are on there, which is awesome. And then like Rosemary's Baby, I watched it the other night. It was on there, which I don't know. I never really liked that movie, but it's okay. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's not really my kind of thing, but I tried to sit through that. As far as like, as far as like newer stuff, I tried to sit through that Scream remake. I don't even like the original Scream movies. I thought they were stupid. So like, I was trying to watch that the other night. And I'm like, I just don't like this. And all my friends that are like younger than me, they're like, you don't like Scream? I'm like, no, I don't. I just don't like it.
Well, I mean, it's not quite the same as Roddy Piper in They Live, is it?
No, it's not.
In 4K,
Right. It just doesn't get the job done, but what's your favorite Carpenter film?
Well, Halloween.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Halloween. I like Halloween 2 as well.
Oh, it's great.
I don't think he directed that, did he?
No, and they switch Michaels in that one too. Dick Warlock plays Michael Myers in that. So they kind of did like a whole changing of the guard thing. Halloween 2 is a great movie. I always liked it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I must admit, a hospital.
Yeah.
The place.
It's great. He melts that nurse in that hot tub.
I know, yeah. Yeah. I like Halloween 2, I must admit. He wrote Sam Hain in blood on the wall, didn't he?
Yep. It's great. Have you watched those? Have you watched the newer Halloween movies that they did?
No, I haven't.
Now they're not that great, but they're very gory. So it's practical effects. Like, this one chick gets killed with this is pretty gnarly. She gets killed with a broken fluorescent tube light, like, just right in the... you should watch it. It's Halloween and Halloween Kills. For the gore alone, it's pretty entertaining. And the weird thing, to give you kind of, like, not to tell you the movie, but kind of give you an idea, both films, all he's trying to do is get back in the Myers house. But he kills fucking everybody that gets in his way. He's just trying to get back into the house. They've not explained it because the third film comes out this Halloween, but he's just running around fucking killing everybody trying to get back into his house. He gets out of the asylum, kills a bunch of people. Then the second film, he's killing a bunch of people to get back to the asylum. Or, excuse me, got out of this trying to get back to the Myers house. And then he's just hanging out in there, and that's how it ends. It's really weird. But it's very gory. Like, I wasn't super crazy about it, but the makeup effects in it, like I said, my favorite kill, he kills a bunch of firemen in it with like a fireman's axe. Like, it's just...
Nice.
it's pretty fun, I thought. And then, I don't know if you know about this, so like, Blumhouse, that does a lot of, like, they did those Halloween movies, that production company, they're doing a sequel to The Exorcist that's got a lot of the original cast that's still alive in it, and it's supposed to come out next year. I guess they're filming it right now. I'm kind of interested in it just because I can't believe that they got... I mean, like, the mom's coming back. Like, I didn't even know she was still alive. Like, they're bringing her back. Like, I don't know. And when they do stuff like this, it usually makes me want to puke. But I try to kind of keep an open mind about it if I end up liking it. But, I mean, the original film still is one of my favorites. I don't know if you like the original Exorcist, but it's one of my favorites. I love the third one, too.
Yeah. Well, Down the Steps is about The Exorcist.
Dude, that is the best. That's so... You know, if you ever can get up there... I haven't got to get there yet, but the actual original steps from the film, right? You can go there. It's a landmark now, and you can take, like, pictures on it. Yeah. I haven't got to go up there. I think it's in Georgetown. But I've never got to go there. The fucking stairs are there, though. Like, you can hang out on them and take your picture on them and all this. I think it would be so cool, but...
Yeah, I'd love to visit that.
Oh, it would be amazing. You all should go there and do band photos. That would be the shit.
on the steps.
On the steps.
Like, falling down the steps.
It would be amazing.
That's what it was about, that song. You know, it's the whole point from where the detective got into the story, and he was basically there just to investigate the death of this priest who went down.
Right.
You know, neck first down the steps. You know, so I thought that was quite, it's quite an interesting part of the film. That, you know, yeah, the third one with George C. Scott was an interesting one as well, wasn't it? With the face changing in the cell.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what's going on here?
Man, the scene with the shears, with the like.
Yeah, across the ceiling. Oh my god! Yeah, it puts the chill up your back, doesn't it?
Oh, it's so awesome. Scream Factory, this company over here, put a Blu-ray of that out of Exorcist 3, and the second disc was it was a different cut of the film, and it was just called Legion. It wasn't even called Exorcist anything. It was just called Legion, okay? And it shaves about 30 minutes of the film off, and it's got more scenes with Brad Dourif in it as opposed to him switching back and forth, you know. It's just Brad Dourif, and George C. Scott is basically just like... It's weird as shit. Like, it's a really... I have to let you watch it sometime. Dude, it's so fucked up. Like, it's a completely... I think you'd like it. The film's shorter, but it's a little gorier, and it's shot with, like... I'm not even sure what it is. It's like they piece together, like, this reel-to-reel shit. Like, it doesn't look good, but God, it's effective. It's so fucked up. Like, it's like a different take on that film. And it was done by I guess the director's original vision of it, and the studio was like, you can't fucking put this out. Like, it's too crazy, because the ending's different and whatnot. And then, so you go and watch the theatrical one, that one, like, it's totally different experience. It's really weird. And they did the same thing with Exorcist 2. So, I've never really liked that movie, but the weird cut of it that they have on the second disc, it's a total different experience. It was actually pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun. The Heretic or whatever.
It's a strange one, isn't it? The Heretic.
It is.
I remember seeing The Heretic for quite some time. I mean, it was a popular film in England. That one.
Really?
The Heretic.
I didn't know that.
Well, it had Richard Burton in it.
Oh, sure. Richard
Burton's a prominent Welsh actor who married Elizabeth Taylor. So, what's this guy doing in this psychological horror? Because obviously the first film, the director, can't remember his name, but he did the French Connection with Gene Hackman.
Yep.
And that's a fucking killer film.
It's a great movie.
As well. So
yep.
The director has got, he should be doing them. Anything The Exorcist, get that man to do them.
I agree with you. There was the TV show The Exorcist, which is on, like, if you've got Hulu, it only ran, I think a couple seasons. It was really interesting. I didn't think I would like it, and it was kind of like every season they would be dealing with, one case. And it's not, the greatest thing in the world, but I thought it was kind of interesting. It's kind of lackluster, but we'll see what they do with this new thing. I don't know. I mean, Blumhouse generally puts out some interesting stuff. If you haven't had a chance to watch this, I can recommend a movie for you to watch. It's really stupid, but it's just called Freaky, and it's got Vince Vaughn in it. And so Vince Vaughn is this serial murderer, super gory, super killer guy, and he ends up in the body of this teenage girl, and the teenage girl ends up in his body, and it's like I said, it's stupid, but you should check it out. It's my favorite thing Blumhouse has done. It's the only modern horror movie that I really thought was really funny, but it's, like I said, it's silly because he ends up getting in her body, so she's running around doing all the killing, and then Vince Vaughn's running around like a teenage girl in it. It's just it's silly, but it's very gory, and it's just it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good one. So that's something for you to check out there. But dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's so fun to catch up with you again. I really appreciate you doing this.
No problem at all. So.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I'm saying good luck with everything. You've got all this awesome stuff, the reissues, and then the new band, and then you guys are doing some shows. It's fucking awesome, man. I wish you all the best. I hope you can come back on and do this again sometime.
Yeah. We should do a top 10 horror film presentation.
Let's do it.
Expose. That's what we should do.
Let's do it.
So I love horror films and gore films, and to be honest, I can find more things to talk about with them. Really.
Absolutely, so, yeah, we can totally do that.
A lot of songs are about horror films and things like that.
Let's do it, man. We'll do it. We'll you come up with your list, I'll come up with mine, and we'll do one.
Yeah, the top 10. So you can have your separate John Carpenter list as well.
Yeah, that would be incredible. We should absolutely do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah. He did quite a lot of films, didn't he, John Carpenter?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
He did The Thing.
Yep.
Which I thought was a good film.
Oh, it's a great movie.
There's The Fog.
Oh, I love The Fog. The pirate, the main pirate in The Fog is it's Captain Blake, but it's played by Rob Bottin, the special makeup effects guy that did fucking Terminator and RoboCop and that's him. He's Captain Blake. It's pretty awesome.
He got the job because he was there.
Yeah,
so
he did.
You need somebody to play the pirate. Play it.
That's exactly what they did. It's fucking killer.
That's John Carpenter, that is, isn't it? Because he would use, people. He would use people who were in his crew as doing other things as well. So he'd people doing the catering, and as well as doing the makeup and things like that.
Absolutely.
That's why he kept the costs down. But classic John Carpenter.
So good. I love one of his that a lot of people I don't think realizes even him. I love Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Egg Foo Young.
Yeah, it's so good, man. It's such a fucking awesome movie. I love that movie. In the Mouth of Madness, I think, was the last really good movie that he did.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That movie's fucking nuts.
In the paranoid shadow crypt perspective on life, you could use that film as the expose for how propaganda media work. You know,
absolutely.
They tend to write the story as they go along, or it's been pre-written. You know, so yeah, it's
so good.
Yeah, that's the stuff, isn't it? That
it is. That's a really good one, and one that I keep going back to of his. I don't know. I love Escape from New York. That movie just fucking
Kurt Russell and Donald Pleasence.
Oh, it's so good. Lee Van Cleef. It's so good.
That was the Into the Mouth of Madness. Had Sam Neill.
Yeah,
didn't he? He was Damien in the third Omen film.
That's my favorite Omen movie. Is the third one. I love the third Omen movie. Everybody, I mean, fucking Sam Neill's terrifying in that movie. I love it. So good.
He's a baby murderer.
Yeah.
Damien, you're crossing the line there. You know.
It's so good. Such a cool movie.
It's a great film, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Great film.
It is. That's a absolutely instant classic. But yeah, we definitely have to do our lists. That would be fun.
Yeah, the top 10 classic films.
It'll be fun. You can do yours. I'll do mine. Then we can compare. We'll see how many we got the same and how many we got different.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We could even do our favorite Friday the 13th list. We could do those in order.
Yeah, I'll have to catch up on a few of them. So,
I mean,
to watch them.
Anything after the first 8, I'm kind of like, but the first 8 all the way up to Manhattan, I like those movies. They're fun, you know. Even my co-host loves the 5th one, with the fake Jason, the ambulance driver that's doing all the killing in it. It's not Jay. I mean, there's some gore that for a slasher movie. If you just watch it just as a slasher, not as Friday the 13th, that's a pretty good movie for what it is, I guess.
Yeah. It is, yeah. I mean, was it the third one? I mean, when he bends somebody in half, you just kind of like, standard gore. That is standard gore. That's what you pay for.
It is absolutely, yeah. That's the stuff right there when you do that. But yeah, come up with your list. We'll reconvene and we'll do another one. We'll just do a whole fucking episode about horror shit.
Okay, then. That'll be great, Vincent. Have a great week.
You too, man. Dude, thank you for everything. I appreciate you.
All right. It's a pleasure.
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.